Welcome to Triple Amen Meditations. Today's meditation is on What is Acceptance? From Bill Wilson's writings, March 1962 in the Grapevine. One way to get at the meaning of the principle of acceptance is to meditate upon it in the context of AA's much-used prayer, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Essentially, this is to ask for the resources of grace by which we may make spiritual progress under all conditions. Greatly emphasized in this wonderful prayer is a need for the kind of wisdom that discriminates between the possible and the impossible. We shall also see that life's formidable array of pains and problems will require many different degrees of acceptance as we try to apply this valued principle. Sometimes we have had to find the right kind of acceptance for each day. Sometimes we need to develop acceptance for what may come to pass tomorrow. And yet again, we shall have to accept a condition that may never change. Then, too, there frequently has to be a right and realistic acceptance of grievous flaws within ourselves and serious faults within those about us, defects that may not be fully remedied for years, if ever. All of us will encounter failures, some retrievable and some not. We shall often meet with defeat, sometimes by accident, sometimes self-inflicted, and at still other times dealt to us by the injustice and violence of other people. Most of us will meet up with some degree of worldly success, and here the problem of the right kind of acceptance will be really difficult. Then there will be illness and death. How indeed shall we be able to accept all of these? This is why we treasure our serenity prayer so much. It brings a new light to us that can dissipate our old-time and nearly fatal habit of fooling ourselves. In the radiance of this prayer, we see that defeat, rightly accepted, need be no disaster. We now know that we do not have to run away, nor ought we again try to overcome adversity by still another bulldozing power drive that can only push up obstacles before us faster than they can be taken down. This kind of acceptance and faith is capable of producing 100% sobriety. In fact, it usually does, and it must, else we could have no life at all. But the moment we carry these attitudes into our emotional problems, we find that only relative results are possible. Nobody can, for example, become completely free from fear, anger, and pride. Hence, in this life, we shall attain nothing like perfect humility and love. So we shall have to settle, respecting most of our problems, for a very gradual progress, punctuated sometimes by heavy setbacks. Our old-time attitude of all or nothing will have to be abandoned. Therefore, our very first problem is to accept our present circumstances as they are, ourselves as we are, and the people about us as they are. This is to adopt a realistic humility, without which no genuine advance can even begin. Again and again, we shall need to return to that unflattering point of departure. This is an exercise in acceptance that we can profitably practice every day of our lives. In times of very rough going, the grateful acceptance of my blessings, oft repeated, can also bring me some of the serenity of which our prayer speaks. Whenever I fall under acute pressure, I lengthen my daily walks and slowly repeat our serenity prayer in rhythm to my steps and my breathing. If I feel that my pain has in part been occasioned by others, I try to repeat, God, grant me the serenity to love their best and never fear their worst. This benign healing process of repetition, sometimes necessary to persist with for days, has seldom failed to restore me to at least a workable emotional balance and perspective. Another helpful step is to steadfastly affirm the understanding that pain can bring. Indeed, pain is one of our greatest teachers. Though I still find it difficult to accept today's pain and anxiety with any great degree of serenity, as those more advanced in the spiritual life seem to be able to do, I can, if I try hard, give thanks for present pain nevertheless. I find the willingness to do this by contemplating the lessons learned from past suffering, lessons which have led to the blessing I now enjoy. I can remember, if I insist, how the agonies of alcoholism, the pain of rebellion, and thwarted pride have often led me to God's grace, and so to a new freedom. So as I walk along, I repeat still other phrases such as these: pain is the touchstone of progress. Fear no evil. This too will pass. This experience can be turned to benefit. These fragments of prayer bring far more than mere comfort. They keep me on the right track of right acceptance. They break up my compulsive themes of guilt, depression, rebellion, and pride. And sometimes they endow me with the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. To those who have never given these potent exercises in acceptance a real workout, I recommend them highly the next time the heat is on, or, for that matter, at any time. Thank you for listening. The end.